Welcome to Nicely Done Yoga. Let's get on the mat. This class is perfectly designed for more flexibility and mobility in the hips, the quadriceps, the glutes. It's a good workout for the overall lower body. Start by sitting comfortable in half lotus or cross-legged position. And take a deep inhale, raise your hands up to the sky, creating a nice stretch in your torso. Hands touch overhead, hands to heart, exhale. Inhale, raise your hands up to the sky and fold all the way forward, coming onto your fingertips, foreheads resting on the mat. If you cannot reach all the way down, you can place your head on a block, just whatever is in your practice. And slowly come back up. And interlace your hands behind your head. Inhale, open the chest, look up. And exhale, fold forward, chin the chest. And inhale, open the chest, look up. And exhale, bend forward, chin the chest, closing the elbows. And inhale, open the chest and bend to the right. And look up to the sky, creating a nice stretch in your side body. And slowly come back to center. Inhale, open the chest and bend to the left. And look up to the sky, creating a nice stretch in your right side body. And come back to center. Place your hands on your shoulders. And on the inhale, twist to the right. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep going. Keep twisting. Keep twisting the spine, making the spine more flexible. Opening up the hips. Opening up the pelvis. And come back to center. Release your hands to your knees. And on the inhale, raise your hands up to the sky. And twist to the left. Right hand comes to your left knee. And look over your left shoulder. And take a deep inhale and try to twist a little deeper. And keep breathing, slowly in and out. And come back to center. And on an inhale, raise your hands up to the sky. And twist to the right. Left hand comes to your right knee. And look over your right shoulder. And take a deep inhale and try to twist a little deeper. Exhale. And slowly come back to center. And from here, start rolling your chest forward. Rolling your torso from the right to the left. And keep going. Making the spine nice and flexible. Just warming up all the muscles in the lower body. And start moving in the other direction, from the left to the right. Rolling your torso forward and back, creating more flexibility in the spine and in the hips. And slowly come back to center. And come on up, come onto your knees, placing your knees as wide as the mat. And slowly fold forward into child's pose, resting your forehead on the mat, resting your hands in front of you. And take a deep inhale, slowly exhale, relax. And stay here until I call you back. And from here, thread the needle, placing your right hand underneath your left arm and look under your left armpit, placing the side of your head on the mat. And take a deep inhale, slowly exhale, relax. And stay here until I call you back. And slowly push yourself back up. And thread the needle to the other side, placing your left hand underneath your right arm, looking underneath your right armpit, and rest the side of your head on the mat. And stay here until I call you back. And slowly push yourself back up. And come onto your knees. And come into frog rocks. So rock your hips back and forth. Keep your knees open wide. Stretching out your wrists and your hips at the same time. Just rock back and forth. Strengthening and flexing the hip flexors, the quads, the hamstrings, and the quadriceps. And sit back on your heels, pushing into your hands, really stretching out your quadriceps. And come onto hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position. And let's move into some cats and cows. Inhale, arch the back, look up into a cow. And exhale, push into your hands, round the back, pull the belly in into a cat. And come back into cow. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round the back, push into your hands, pull the belly in into a cat. And inhale, come back into a cow. And exhale, come into a cat. And one more time, inhale, come into a cow. And exhale, come into cat, round the back, pull the belly in, push into your hands. And turn to the side. And on the inhale, raise your right leg up to the sky, stretching out your hamstring. Toes are pointing. And place your right leg to the side. And place your toes on the mat. And lift your leg with control to the other side. And look over your shoulder towards your toes. And lift your leg back up. Place it to the side. And place your foot flat on the mat. And rock the hips back and forth, creating more mobility in your hips. And move your hips back and hold here. And come back forward, place your knee down on the mat. And go to the other side. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky, stretching out your hamstring. Toes are pointing. And reach your left leg to the left. Put your toes on the mat. And with control, lift your leg over to the right and look over your right shoulder. And with control, bring your leg back to the left. Place your foot flat on the mat. And start rocking back your hips back and forth. Creating a nice stretch in your hip flexors. Keep rocking back and forth. And move back one more time and hold here. And come back forward, place your knee back on the mat. And move back to the long way of your mat. Come back into table, tuck your toes, lift your hips up to the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. Straighten out your knees, lengthen through the shoulders. Start walking out your dog, bending one knee at a time, stretching out the other leg, pushing your other foot into the mat, stretching out your hamstrings and the back of your legs. And drop your knees and sit back into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat and your arms are resting on the side. Take a deep inhale and slowly exhale. Place your hands forward, tuck your toes and push your hips up to the sky into downward facing dog. Lengthen through the shoulders and drop your knees to the mat. Come back into table. Tuck your toes and sit back onto your heels, folding into child's pose. Foreheads resting on the mat. Feeling a nice decompression in the lower back. And come back forward. Tuck your toes, lift your sit bones up to the sky, back in downward facing dog. And on an inhale, raise your right foot up to the sky, coming into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing. And from here, bring your knee to your left elbow, activating your core muscles, and push your foot back up. And bring your knee to your right elbow, and push your foot back up into three-legged dog. And place your foot back down, place your knees down, and push back into downward facing dog. Lengthen through your shoulders, straighten out your legs. And on your next inhale, raise your left foot up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing, pushing into your hands. And bring your knee to your right elbow, activating the core. And push your foot back up. And bring your knee to your left elbow. And push your foot back up into a three-legged dog. And place your foot down, drop your knees. And sit back into a child's pose. And your forehead's resting on the mat. And come back up, tuck your toes, coming into a plank. Chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, raise your right foot up to the sky into a three-legged dog. And step your right foot forward between your hands. Drop your left knee down, coming into a low lunge. And reach your hands up to the sky. Little back bend, look up to your fingers. And place your hands on your knees and sink down into your hips. Stretching out your psoas, your hip flexors. And from here, move your hips back, coming into a half split. And try to fold forward towards your knee. And come back forward. Place your hands on your knee and sink into the hips. And move back into half splits. Fold forward. Stretching out your hamstring. And move back forward into low lunge. Hands on your knees, sink into the hips. And place your hands on the mat, step back into a plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And let's go to the other side. On an inhale, raise your left foot up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing, lengthen through the shoulders. And step your left foot forward between your hands, drop your right knee down, coming into a low lunge. Hands up to the sky, little back bend. And look up to your fingers. Place your hands on your knee and sink deeper into the hips. Stretching out all your muscles in your hip area. And move your hips back, coming into a half split. And try to fold your nose towards your knee. And come back into low lunge. Place your hands on your knee, sink into the hips. And move back into half splits. Fold forward. Pushing your left hip back, your right hip forward. And move back forward into low lunge, sinking into the hips. Hands on your knee. And hands to the mat, stepping into a plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And on a deep inhale, raise your right foot up to the sky, coming into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing. And step your right foot next to your hands on the outside of the mat, coming into a lizard pose. And open up the chest, look forward. And place your right hand on your knee and push your knee open to the side, looking up to the sky, opening up the chest and opening up your hips. And come back to center. Coming back into half splits, moving your hips back, fold forward and come back into lizard. Push your knee open to the side, opening up the chest. Sinking into the hips, and move your hips back into half splits, and fold forward, nose towards your knee, and move back forward into lizard. Step back into a plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Lengthen through the shoulders, straighten out your legs, pushing the sit bones up. And on inhale, raise your left foot up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing. And step your left foot forward on the outside of the mat next to your hands. Drop your knee down, coming into lizard. And push your knee open to the left. Open up the chest, look up. Sink into the hips. And moving your hips back, coming back into half splits. And try to fold forward. And move back forward into lizard. Open up your knee to the side and look up to the sky. And come back into half splits. And try to fold forward. Pushing your left hip back, right hip forward. And come back into lizard. Push your knee open, look up to the sky. Open up the chest. Sinking into the hips. And hands on the mat. Step back into a plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Lifting the hips off the mat. And push your sit bones back up into downward facing dog. Length through your shoulders. And on an inhale, raise your right foot up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing. And bring your right leg more or less parallel with your hands. Coming into a pigeon, sinking into the hips, and place your right hand in the middle of the mat and reach your left hand back, coming into a twist, looking over your left shoulder, feeling a nice stretch in the spine, and come back forward and rest your forehead down on your arms. Take a deep inhale and slowly exhale, relax, and stay here until I call you back. And slowly come back up, tuck your toes, step your foot back into a plank, chaturanga, inhale upward facing dog, and exhale downward facing dog. Pushing your sit bones up to the sky, length through the shoulders, straighten out your legs. And on an inhale, raise your left leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog. Toes are pointing. And bring your left leg more or less parallel with your hands, sinking into the hips, coming into your pigeon. Open the chest and place your left hand in the middle of the mat. Reach your right hand back into a twist, feeling a nice twist in the spine. Looking over your right shoulder. And come back forward and place your forehead onto your arms and fold down. Take a deep inhale and slowly exhale, relax. And stay here until I call you back. And slowly come back up. Sit on your left hip and swing your right leg forward. Coming into a half Lord of Fish pose. Place your right foot next to your left knee. Hug your knee into your chest. Place your right hand to the back. And place your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. And twist open to the right, looking over your right shoulder. And keep breathing and relax. And slowly come back forward. Switch your legs, placing your left foot on the outside of your right knee. Hug your knee into your chest with your right arm. Place your left hand back and place your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. And twist open to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, try to twist a little deeper. And relax. And slowly come back to center. And roll onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. And extend your right leg forward. Hugging your left knee into your chest. And place your left knee to the right side of the mat. Coming into a supine twist. And look over your left shoulder towards your left hand. Take a deep inhale and exhale, relax. And stay here until I call you back. And slowly come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. And extend your left foot forward. Hug your right knee into your chest and place it to the left. Coming into your supine twist. And look over your right shoulder towards your hand. Take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, let everything go and relax. And stay here until I call you back. And slowly come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. And extend your legs forward, coming into your final posture, Shavasana. Feet fall open to the side, hands are resting next to you, palms facing up. And take a deep inhale, and on exhale let everything go. And relax. And slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Start moving your fingers, wiggle your toes. And give yourself a nice stretch overhead. And hug your knees into your chest. And rock back and forth. And come back up into a seated position. Coming into half lotus or cross-legged position. Placing your hands on your knees. And take a moment to tune into your body. Tune into your breath. Take a deep inhale and slowly exhale. And go into a little meditation. And rub your hands together, create some heat, create some acne, and place your hands onto your eyes, calming down the nervous system, and try to tune into your energy. And rub your hands together one more time, and place your hands onto your heart, and thank yourself for showing up today for this beautiful practice, for your health and your well-being. Nicely done. Namaste. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you for joining this class. Have a nice day.